So, where have I been? I don't know. I don't make YouTube videos anymore. But I figured I would post some things that I have made. I've recorded a ton of videos and I should share them, I guess. I don't know if it's interesting, but basically I'm just going to start showing all the stuff I filmed with the intention of showing on the YouTube channel, but never did. So today, going over, or I don't know, fucking 4 months ago, whenever it was, going over to where I originally started my van. I used to park on the street, and there was a guy who lived in a laundromat, so I'm gonna tour his place. So if you're interested, watch that video. Here it is.
Hey, I'm Samson. Welcome to my ex-laundromat home studio. This is the main space. It's been here for 100 years, but I've only been here for 4. I think the building was built in 1911, and someone came in after the final business closed in 2005 and built this like bedroom structure. This is my little recording station and my stereo setup. I do a lot of shows here, so this is often the stage where people will perform. I just got this Tascam 388. Someone brought it here, like many of the things. I've been looking for one of these for years, but they were all too expensive. And then this guy called me, said he worked for a moving company, and he asked me if I wanted it. So he brought it by. I've been learning how to use it this week. I work in set design, so I brought in all these props and set pieces. Most of the stuff in this room is free, you know, stuff I found on the sidewalk or got on a job. Initially, most of the stuff that came in here is from a set. It was like a prop or a set piece. And I started decorating with those things because I didn't have much, because my old apartment could fit about that many things. So I just kind of started bringing in stuff I found on the street or stuff from sets. And then since it's a store, a lot of people started coming in because they were curious. But I didn't have anything to sell, and so I really enjoy sensational hosting, like making someone a cup of coffee when they were already looking for coffee, but then they don't have to pay for it and they can sit and listen to a record. That's kind of the whole MO of the space. But after that, you know, after many people coming in, they started to realize that I would just kind of take junk. And so when people would have junk, I would be like, you know, they'd say like, I have a lot of junk to get rid of. You look like you love junk. And so I'd say, well, you know, show me your junk. And they would. Though it's no longer a laundromat, I do still have the sign. And this is from the 80s. I think it's been a laundromat twice, as far as I can tell. I learn new things about this building all the time from, you know, older people in the neighborhood. But this is from 1980. And then I know it was a different laundromat again in the late 90s to early 2000s. But I put this up here to hide all my storage. This kitchen was here when I got here. It's like kind of a modular setup. There's no gas in here because it's a laundromat. And so I just have this like very weak stovetop. It takes about 30 minutes to boil something, but I still can cook on it. This is like my full oven, because there was no real oven here. So it's kind of a makeshift kitchen, but it works for the things that I do. I make mostly salads anyway, so. I moved in here in 2019, and when I moved in, I didn't know anyone in the neighborhood. And I was actually very nervous about how I would be received, because I'm like the only, at least at the time, I was like the only younger white kid living in the neighborhood. So I kind of kept my doors shut and I kept to myself. But I made one major faux pas. I brought some trash from here, like a big cabinet piece that I'd removed from inside, and I put it over there, and within an hour this guy David, who lives on the block, brought it to my door, and he was like, don't put your trash on other people's corners, this is your corner. And I was like, shit, I am dead. Like, this neighborhood hates me, I'm never gonna make a friend here. This is a bad idea to get a storefront in a neighborhood that I know nothing about. I was feeling very conflicted about it. Shaky, sweaty, you know, whatever. And then he came back in an hour with a joint and asked me if I wanted to smoke it. I don't smoke weed, but it was a nice gesture, and we've been friends ever since. Through the grace of my neighbors, been able to kind of create like an outdoor space as well. The swing, like everyone's been very gracious about me just putting a swing on the sidewalk. People use it, and that's the whole thing. It's not like it's just them tolerating me. It's like these things are actually used by the whole neighborhood. And so it feels cool to like not only have a home, but in the same way have a spot that people are, you know, using for their own benefit and for their own chill time. I grew up with like a very open door policy. My mom was always having people live with us, people coming to stay for, you know, months or weeks at a time. And so as a child, I didn't really have much privacy. And I think some people who grew up like that might go into adulthood like really craving privacy, but it never switched on for me. I'm perfectly comfortable here right now. Ideally, I hope to someday have this space be like a truly collaborative environment where, you know, there's people who use this as studio space and it's also a show space, and maybe 4 or 5 people kind of have this and no one lives here. I would like to find another spot. I've always loved commercial spaces. I've always loved open spaces. I grew up on a commune. I lived in a warehouse in Chicago. Like, I like open environments. I like open floor policies. Probably over the past 4 years that I've lived here, I think somewhere around 20 people have lived here on and off, you know. People who are coming to New York or people who are between apartments. They'll come stay here for a couple days or a couple weeks or, you know, a month or so. I have had one cat has been here for about a month, but I don't think any other animals have been here as long as that one cat. But I really did enjoy a cat being here. Of course, since I'm on the street, I've had mice before. I don't believe there's any mice right now, but the cat helped with the mice for sure. This is one of my earliest paintings right here. It's probably called Drunk at the Zoo or something like that. I've painted, I think at this point I've painted 13 oil paintings. I've only been painting since like 2017. This is the Verrazano Bridge right here. Robert Moses' dying project. I think it's a doomed portal to a hellscape. Last time I was on the Verrazano, a table flew out of the back of the truck that I was driving. And I guess it was kind of like it was a beneficial situation for me because it didn't kill anybody, but it still felt like doom. Every time I've been on the Verrazano Bridge, it feels awful. I don't know, something's wrong just spiritually in that air. This is one of a couple quarantine paintings. It's kind of like an amalgamation of people that I knew and like dreams that I was having at the time, but it's these. I mean, I suppose I've kind of had a fantasy about just constantly adding on to it, just getting little canvases. These are actually like this really cheesy island print from IKEA that you put on a wall and you arrange them like that. So I just painted over the island print. As much as I wish that I painted this water, I did not. The water is actually the only remaining thing from the IKEA print. But yeah, I guess that's more what paintings are to me, is like kind of like reference points for my own lived experience, because pictures don't feel true enough. Since the film industry shut down recently through the, SAG and WGA strikes, I haven't been working in film as much, so I've been doing more painting commissions for people. But if anyone would like a painting commission, you can go to my website, samsondoll.com, and there's a little message link in there. This is one of maybe 4 or 5 couches that have been in this space, but this has been here the longest. I think I've had it for 2 years now. It's one of the only things in this whole room that I actually spent money on. I paid $600 for it, which at the time was huge. I'd never bought a couch in my life because I've always, working in film, you just get a lot of free furniture, a lot of free vintage furniture too, because period pieces are everywhere. But I paid $600 for this. It was at Big Reuse. I was on a job. It was originally $1,200, and then they marked it down half, and I was like, oh, I gotta get it. So I got it. But I think it's from the 50s, and it's actually kind of messed up. I don't know if you can tell, but this whole front of the corner piece is bowing out, but it's still a lovely couch with a lot of character. And it comes apart, so when I do shows, I can kind of, you know, remove it like that and store it in my bedroom or something like that, and then I have more floor space for people. And then I'll roll up the rug, and I've done that for dance parties, things like that. One of the neighbors in the neighborhood is a DJ, and he comes over and he'll spin, and other people will spin along with him.
You might never hear click, pitch, what?
Hi again. This is me from my computer editing this video. I guess if you like that, subscribe. People say that, I guess. Leave a comment. Should I even bother? I have a video of how I shower in New York City and live in a van. If you've watched this far, write P-I-P-I-P-P on the video. If you have, great. If you haven't, and you just skip to this end of the part, write poo-poo. I think people do that for engagement. I don't get YouTube. Anyway, I'll make more videos. Thanks for watching.